It's Kareen here, and what you're about to witness is one entrepreneur's journey on how they navigate a challenge or need support in an area of their business with me. Results may vary if you try this on your own. The purpose of sharing this with you is to help you know that help is always available and you don't have to do it alone.
What advice, because we serve as a marketplace, we're not creating these products, they're not ours. We're bringing in vendors just like Sears, Nordstrom, any of these stores.
Yeah.
And so one of the challenges we're having is
They're not your designs.
Yes, but more so how much work do we put in as a marketplace versus how much work do we expect from the vendor themselves? Because, for example, the bridal designs that you see, the video that you see, we ended up going to Mexico City, working with the brand, doing it ourselves, and it resulted in this.
Yeah.
If we hadn't done that, it would have still produced beautiful images. It just wouldn't have spoken to
the sale for
American consumer.
No.
So we're feeling challenged in how much work we put in as a marketplace versus what do we ask our vendors for.
Well, so there's a pricing structure. If you're going to end up doing the marketing aspect, it's about the earnings margin you get on each piece is how you bake in the additional marketing cost. So like for these, is it consignment based or is it, what's the deal you have with the brands?
I think that's another challenge, that some of them are consignment and some of them are purchased, not upfront, but maybe like 50% upfront or something like that. Just because some of them are more emerging brands and so they ask for it. But for example, the bridal is completely until the dress is shipped to us. Yeah, until it's shipped to us, nothing is paid. So it's different. However, we are providing these services. And so for a lot of the jewelry brands, it's the same. We're also providing just marketing and photography.
That is a cost to sell. So, like the item. So it's either you negotiate down the cost of the item because you're doing marketing for specific items because your buyer needs to see it a certain way, or you demand of them. The problem with demanding of brands, because when I work, for different e-commerce collective experiences like this, brands won't take the right photos that are on brand for your marketplace. So there was always a cost to getting the products shown the right way. So it's more about you looking at your margins, understanding that the price you're going to put it for sale includes a marketing cost. Like it's part of your COGS. If you're going to need a specific photo shoot done or to go to the product directly.
Have you seen brands typically share that then with the vendors if it's included?
Share the cost?
The images or any videos taken or anything like that?
No, it is their product, but it's your way of selling it. So I would say so that they put it on their own site. No, if they want to use what you have created, then they have to pay the fees for that. Like that means that they're paying for the marketing. You're the production team. Yeah. But then it's an added fee for them to have access to what you create.
Yeah. Okay. Would you happen to know what kind of structures those look like as far as pricing, just on the market?
I haven't been on the behind the scenes, but what I would do is, if you're going to split costs, you just did it right in Mexico for the bridal. So I would tally up the cost of what that was for you, from the photographer, the production set, the models, the whole thing, how many items, and come up with a price per item, based on that shoot day. And that's probably your standard because most of your products are going to be made in another country, right? Or are they US? Yeah. And then
some are US based. Yeah.
Some are US based. So then it's but the team is what you're actually paying for to get the photos done. And then the production cost of the imagery by your photographer or videographer is then the baseline of what gets either split between you and the brand if they want access to the brand footage. Or that's just the cost to you to know what the markup needs to be on each product sold. But I don't know any standards because it depends on your location. Like all photo shoots cost different amounts, you know? So it's more the standard of the agreement with the brand of who's responsible for what part of the cost.
Right.
Because these are lovely. I mean, your photo shoot's lovely. And I think it tells the right story on this particular brand. So other ways, obviously, is to get the samples sent to you to do the photo shoot locally if you needed to or wanted to, or if you had that kind of space. And then you could do more viral type videos in-house, like if you had your own studio space to work out of, to bank social assets. And then ship the samples back.
Right. Which is typically also something that we do create.
Yeah. So I would see that as an operating cost. And then you have to adjust your pricing per each item to cover for that cost, you know?
Yes. It feels like, because doing it per campaign feels a little, I don't know. It feels more like taking in an employee's overall salary and taking the percentage of I'm spitballing here, taking what the salary is of that employee into consideration for the operating cost, and then saying like, well, this employee is, you know, X percentage of, and so that's why every product that essentially comes through their photography studio has a 1% fee to cover for their fee, or 2%. You know, that's what feels like what needs
from a service. So like if you were a branding agency or a marketing agency, the COGS would be time for each individual to produce the end result, right? So you have the model, the photographer, the makeup artist, the hair, like the whole team, you as the lead, the project manager, and then you just kind of put an expense sheet together for what each campaign would take and you could either come up with a price per item. So like if you know for a specific dress, you're going to want 4 different angles and you're going to want video and, you know, still images. And you're going to want joint, like a whole group picture, like, you know, and you just kind of like come up with your shot list, basically, knowing that it takes a photographer X to do this many hours of service. And for each product, it takes 30 minutes or an hour and a half. Like it's bridal. So there's always a lot that goes with the right look for that, you know? And then you'll see what the actual cost to you looks like to then say, okay, you know what, the pricing margin for this dress, because of the material, because of the handmade aspect of it and the competitive market, like I can literally charge $1,500 versus $1,060 for this item because, and then that extra, like, you know, $400 covers the cost of the team it took me to do the photos, and I'm still making the same margin.
Right.
Or you're charging the brand for it, and you become your own like marketing agency in essence.
Yeah.
But that's going to be harder for them to pay.
Yeah. Well, I can't deny that I've thought about that just because of some of the work that we put in and some of the brands that, you know, I constantly asked, like, how did you do this? Or how did you do that?
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, if it's another revenue stream to consult on the how to, doesn't hurt. Doesn't mean they'll be good at it. But you could always get paid to tell them how. Just want to remind you that breakthroughs and strategies are here for you. You don't have to be isolated on your business building journey. If you'd like to have a chance to connect with me and let me be all up in your business, go to heykareen.com/connect and a team member will share how you can obtain the best support at this time. You always can have me in your pocket by leveraging my AI. Go to heykareen.app, download it, and start chatting away. And of course, you know, I am always here, willing and ready to be the support you need. All you have to do is ask.